Why is prostitution still illegal? This might be the land of the free for everyone but the venereally disenfranchised. You might think that the idea of prostitution might seem a little antiquated, but when you really sit down and think about it, you'll realize that it's actually pretty progressive, and it would probably be a way more effective message to the powers that be than pulling down these Confederate statues. Putting it simply, prostitution has the ability to significantly reduce most types of racism. If you think about it, any type of bigotry is propagated by the separations of different types of people. And you can't get people much closer to one another than getting them inside of one another. So for these Karens pulling down the Black Lives Matters posters, get them a little bit of that BBC and guarantee they'll calm down a little bit. And on the other hand, for all these older conservative men that think every Middle Easterner is a terrorist, they obviously have not seen Mia Khalifa's body of work. She might not have taken down the Twin Towers, but she could definitely take down a dick. And seriously, if you guys think it's only men out there looking for some of that paid snatch, you might as well start looking for witches in Salem. It's 2020, and you best believe women are out there looking for some of that paid strange too. And that's what I call equal opportunity employment. Men being able to sell dick $40 by the inch, and women being able to suck cock behind some vending machine for a new pair of Lululemon leggings. Let the people make their money. And on top of dissolving racism and providing a more equal opportunity workforce, prostitution is a very viable solution to sexism, because in any society where prostitutes can succeed, being a woman is more desirable. Trust me, I've been to Thailand, I've seen it. For the men out there that aren't packing heat or can't get a legitimate job selling individual socks outside of a 7-Eleven, they'll transition to a woman in order to be a more viable prostitute so they can provide better for the family. And this has been going on for hundreds of years. So Caitlin, you're a little late to the party. But at the end of the day, the government doesn't really care about equality or leveling out the playing field. They care about their bottom buck. So how will prostitution help our steaming pile of shit of an economy? First things first, the tax man gets a completely new stream of revenue. Take Nevada for example. There are certain parts in which contracting out a woman of the night is completely legal. Fucking Clint Eastwood Wild West. Now, in the legal parts of Nevada, prostitution brings in about $75 million every year. But that's not what we're talking about. Let's take the parts of Nevada where prostitution is illegal. They bring in about $5 billion each year. Now let's spread that throughout the country and multiply it by 50. That gives us about $250 billion of taxable income. And so let's take the average income tax rate in 2016, which was 14.2% over the entire country. That gives us about $35.5 billion. That's new tax revenue flowing into the government's slimy paws. And what could they do with that? They could fund 61.5 more Epsteins to keep their human-sacrificing immortal leaders entertained. Or that money could be allocated to other aspects for a nation that are failing, such as education, public health, housing, poverty and hunger, youth services, and climate services, plus many more aspects of our society which are failing that could definitely use the funding. Prostitution wouldn't just be a band-aid, it could be a legitimate solution to many of the problems that plague our society today. Even that tricky bitch of a problem we have yet to find an answer for. Yes, marriage. This would allow for a different type of life where men could fuck freely without guilt or having to get into some horrible relationship just for a little bit of puss. And I'm only singling out men because women have had the ability to fuck freely since the 1920s when they criminalized domestic violence. This just levels out the playing field a little bit. And if prostitution was legal, we wouldn't have to worry about the illegal prostitution rings because it simply wouldn't be illegal anymore. But what would that take? What exactly would that take? That would take a shift in laws from criminalizing the entire spectrum of prostitution, including targeting non-coercive purchasers, providers, or facilitators of sex work, also meaning not targeting the people that are interacting with the industry in a way in which all parties are fully and knowingly consenting to the services being provided. Instead, we need to focus on protecting the sex work industry from exploitation and abuse. This would normalize the occupation, which would decrease the need for the illicit activities going on, which keeps these illegal rings running. And maybe instead of Anastasia from Czech on your next pleasure call, you might see Jenny from down the block. Not J-Lo, just Jenny from down the block. Prostitution. Fighting the forces of unwanted sex trafficking and sourcing locally. What could be more progressive?
So guys, what's up guys? Alright guys, I'm Chance.
Everyone has a podcast, so
Guess it's my fucking turn.
I got 3 fully loaded cabooses.
Cheers.
Let's get this bitch rolling.
But yeah,
$200,000 a year.
right?
We know where he's coming from.
Go to the beach.
Big booty Latina.
Taco.
Illustrating what's wrong
Wow.
in our
Hang out.
society. Authentic, handmade,
Yeah.
original
We're having a
Chance
good
Cablay.
time.
I want humanity to stay on Earth.
This is